hope you're having a great night. I thought I would spill the beans since it's pouring down rain outside and share this quick message with you. The topic this week has come up a couple different times. We posed the question, what weighs more, 1 pound of muscle or 1 pound of fat? And obviously 1 pound is 1 pound, right? But that's a common misconception that sometimes people say muscle weighs more than fat. But I want to show you something here. I have 2 bags of beans, okay? 2 bags of beans. And which bag of beans do you think has more beans in it? This one right here? This is my left, or this one on my right? Which one do you think has more beans in it? I'll give you a second to think about it. But the truth is that both bags have the exact same amount of beans. And what this is representing is, for example, 2 people that both weigh the exact same amount. So let's say you have 2 people that both weigh 180 pounds, right? Well, this person has a higher amount of body fat. And so that's why it appears larger, fuller, taking up more space, right? Whereas this person would be leaner. And so they would, appear maybe more fit, more trim, but they both weigh exactly the same. And that's important to understand because sometimes we get hung up on the weight on the scale when there's other factors we need to look at. Because maybe 180 is a great weight to still be lean, right? But for this person, 180 is a fluffy weight. Does that make sense? So I want to remind you that yes, taking your weight on the scale is a super simple, quick and easy way to do things, but that's just your gravitational pull on the earth. There's other things that we need to look at, like body fat, measurements, and even photos. Sometimes looking at your photos and you put them side by side and you're like, oh my gosh, I look completely different. So I want you to think about that for a second, okay? And the muscle to fat ratio. And also remember, because this has come up as well, that sometimes during your journey, sure, you might start building muscle quicker. And yeah, maybe you haven't burned off the fat just yet. And so you might see an increase in inches, and that's okay because your body's going to decide at what rate it does things. And at the end of the day, if you stick to the process, stay the course, you're going to get great results, okay? So you're going to see things like your clothing size go down, dress sizes, pant sizes, and so forth. So remember that yes, fat takes up more space than muscle. But again, it weighs the same, okay? It weighs the same. So I don't want people to get discouraged or hung up on the scale. Look at, how do you feel? Are you sleeping better? Do you have more energy? Are your clothes fitting better? Did you go down a dress size? But hey, some people, maybe they want to go up a size too because they want to put on some lean muscle. So anyway, keep that in mind. Communicate with us. Let us know what your goals are if you feel like you're stuck or at a plateau. But here's a real important thing to understand too. The first 4 to 12 weeks of a consistent exercise program, your body is making neuromuscular connections and trying to figure out what's going on during the first 4 to 12 weeks. And again, that could be like this. There could be no weight moving on the scale. The weight could go down. The weight could go up. Your body's trying to figure out what's going on, right? And so at 12 weeks of consistent exercise, what do most people do? Well, unfortunately, a lot of people stop or quit or give up because they feel like they've started to hit a plateau at 12 to 16 weeks of a consistent program. But what research says is that you make the most changes at 16 weeks. That's when you start to make the most changes. After 16 weeks or 4 months of consistent exercise. That's where you're gonna break through the plateaus, see the most changes, and that at 2 years, they're like, man, your body's a machine. So that's what research says. And that's why people that are consistent for 2 years or more, and maybe you yourself or you know someone, that's why they're able to maintain their health, their weight, their body fat, whatever it is, because they've been consistent for such a long time. But unfortunately, a lot of us were like, oh, well, I had this happen or that happen, and we didn't do it long enough, or we didn't push through the phase where the muscle and the fat building and all that's going on, and we kind of stopped. So I just want to remind you, keep going, be consistent. As you know, we change up your workouts all the time, but if you train the same, meaning like if you do the exact same weights every time you come in here in boot camp, you're probably not going to move too far forward, right? So while we keep the exercises fresh, unique, different, and constantly challenging you, you got to make sure that you're pushing yourself just a little bit more, stepping outside of your comfort zone just a little bit more to help you break through that plateau. But do not be afraid, women especially, do not be afraid of building some lean muscle. We have like this much testosterone compared to a man. You're not going to get huge. You're not going to get big. You're not going to get bulky. So sometimes what people experience though, like I said earlier, is building muscle quicker than burning off the body fat. Okay? So keep going. Be consistent. Consistent exercise and being consistent with your nutrition. And if you need help with that, of course, make sure you set up a food log review. All right, I hope you found this beneficial. I hope that I spilled the beans to kind of help break some myths. And if there's any other questions you have, let us know. We're happy to help. Or come in, set up a time to do an assessment to truly get the full picture between weight, measurements, body fat, and photos of where you truly are in your progress, and that we can help develop your next plan to break through any plateaus and continue achieving your personal best. All right, have a great one. We'll see you soon.